Welcome to the What's Up Verdict podcast. We fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host Mattson.
Better red than dead.
And Alec Burgess.
Let's get it.
Dude, Porky Pig on crack. I like it. Welcome. We appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead and hit that follow, subscribe, bell notification buttons. Helps keep up with all of our episodes and grow the podcast. What else helps grow the podcast? Tell a friend about us. Tell a family member about us. Tell a funny dog owner about us that maybe didn't really want to be a dog owner at one point or another. But, yeah, tell those guys because we like dogs. Mine are laying around here somewhere. But, yeah, we're here in week 3 of our resurgence of our wow, my brain just stopped. What's the word I'm looking for? What kind of episode is this?
Arbitration.
Arbitration series. There you go. Fuck me, man. It just was like, nope, you're done. Go away. Watched it fly out of my brain. Fly away. Yeah, we're doing arbitration week 3. So this week, here's what we're doing. Plug your ears if you don't like loud music. Yeah, so we're doing Canine versus Turner and Hooch, 1989 twin films. The first one, Canine, was released April 28th, 1989. It was written by Steven Seagal and Scott Myers. It was directed by Rod Daniel. It stars Jim Belushi, Mel Harris, Kevin Teige, Ed O'Neill, the dog Rando, James Handy, and Daniel Davis. It is about to stop an elusive criminal, a maverick detective enlists the aid of a police dog who's an unusually intelligent smart aleck. That's an interesting synopsis. But that one will be going up against Turner and Hooch, which was released July 28th, 1989. It was written by Dennis Schreierack, Michael Blodgett, and Daniel Petrie Jr. It's directed by Roger Spottiswoode. It stars Tom Hanks, Mayor Winningham, Craig T. Nelson, Reginald Vell Johnson, Scott Paulin. Where's the dog at? Anyway, don't have him. Yeah, David Nell, Kevin Scannell, and a very young Eldon Hansen. And so we will jump into this movie that's about a detective that must adopt a rambunctious dog in order to help him find a killer. So this was my pick. This pick was easy for me. Like, I was really excited to do it because these are two of my favorite like movies as a kid. Like when I was young, like I was 7 years old when these movies came out, and I've always been a huge dog lover. And so for me, these were hilarious. They were heartwarming. They were funny. They were entertaining. And, you know, it's just, I was like really excited when we decided to do the arbitration series again. I was like, this one's been on my list to add to it since we started doing these 5 years ago. So, yeah, I was really excited. I watched both of them in theater when I was a kid. My mom and dad took me. We had a lot of fun. Yeah, I have a lot to talk about with these two, but because they were like staples of my childhood. But yeah, good times. I was 8 years old when these came out. What'd you guys think? Here's the question. Turner and Hooch is usually the bigger one because it's got Tom Hanks in it, obviously.
Okay.
And I know Mattson, you had seen it because we talked about this before, but you hadn't seen Canine, right?
I'd seen Turner and Hooch only like 1 or 2 years ago because of Tay. She loves Turner and Hooch. I mean, Tay's a huge dog lover. I love my dog Koa with all my heart. Mr. Him, Bubberkin, Dubberkin, Wubberkin, Snubberkins, Chubberkins, Mr. Him, Hubbies, Double Wubber Bubbers. I mean, I could go on. He's all kinds of things. He's not here right now. Otherwise, he's getting groomed right now. So I love you guys, those that listen to us, aka I'm the man of the people, so you should know this. I love Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks and a dog. It's a pretty great combination. Like, it's not much to dislike there. Never had seen K9, and I have told JJ on numerous occasions when we're playing video games, this is I mean, I'm so happy to have had watched that movie. As we'll talk about, don't think it's the greatest acted movie, but
I
oh man, it's funny, and I was just tickled pink to be able to have watched it.
love it. Alec, had you seen either of these movies?
I mean, I was -4 when these movies came out, and
-4.
like the first time I saw them both was carry the one Tuesday. Yeah, I'd never seen either one of these movies before.
I wondered. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not even close. Never was this anywhere near
Sure.
movies to go watch.
Love it.
So, I mean, thank you, I guess.
Yeah. You're fucking
Dude,
welcome,
dude.
motherfucker. No.
Movies to watch. I appreciate it.
Some sarcasm in your voice there, my friend.
No, I liked them. They were good. They were good. They were funny. There's not necessarily a whole lot of bad about either one. I will say though, something that I had a problem with. We'll say problem was with K9. The fact that I don't know if they added all the dog sounds in or if the dog was just making sounds the entire time, but having the dog act like it's conversing back and forth with Jim Belushi.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I've owned a lot of dogs, very vocal dogs as well, and not a single one is that vocal.
All right, and that's just where we need to stop listening to your opinion, because that's one of my favorite things about the movies, because they humanize the shit out of that dog, and
it's so dumb.
I loved it. Because if you didn't like that, then you hated the hospital scene when the dog's alive and is clearly listening to what's the main character's name in K9?
Man of the people.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is, when he's just going off and apologizing. Yeah, Dooley, and saying how sad he is. And when the dog like looks at him and then goes back, and then like looks at him and then goes like, because he thinks he's dead, but the dog's very much alive. I love those sounds because that endeared me to that dog so dang much. Jerry Lee had my heart from the beginning. So we're gonna get into it. We'll get into our topics, and that's why people listen to me and not you.
Nobody listens to you.
I fucking love it when you two get going. Shit's great.
Enough is enough with the dog. Like, have it a little bit, but every single... Dude, the dog had half the dialogue in this.
Dude, I will say this, like, you're right. Most dogs aren't going to communicate that way, but I have Daisy, my little hound dog that just laid down behind me a few minutes ago. She and I get in full-on fucking conversations. Now, I don't know what the fuck she's saying, but I sure know she's boss. She's just as bossy as Casey. So, like, it is, like, she'll tell me, she'll sit down and we'll have a full-out conversation. It's quite funny, but...
Yeah, but it's not constant.
Well, sure. No.
If you're gonna start rating these movies off of that one, these movies would never exist like this. They're not realistic. Like, come on, jeez, Alec.
She heard you us talking about her, so now
she felt some type of way.
Yeah. No, look. Yeah, it's not. It's every day.
Of our co-hosts, how many of us own dogs?
I own 3.
Yeah, and who doesn't own a dog? Little old man rump pussy Alec over there. Shut your trap hole. We love those. We love those noises when that dog talks. Every time I felt like he was talking.
My point is, they're not constant, and it drove me nuts.
It's fair. She and I communicate on a daily basis that way, but not all day long.
Have you ever yelled at your dog because they're making too much noise, Mattson?
Sure. Actually, him barking?
Yes, exactly.
I haven't. That dude does not bark.
If they go and they go and they go and they go. And most dogs aren't vocal all the time. They'll have their moments when they want to communicate something to you. And they have moments where it's endearing and it's fun.
Yeah, but Jerry Lee's not sitting there barking at the door for 30 seconds. He's going like when Dooley says something smart and wise ass, then Jerry Lee's like, and I was like, dang, that's so freaking funny. That's so great. You know what, Jay, you can just minimize Alex
there you go.
rectangle and just mute him.
Make him all tiny. Yeah. I will say German Shepherds tend to be more vocal than most. Huskies are the most vocal, in my opinion, which I've had two of the most silent huskies on the planet. My hound dog's more talkative than my husky right now, which is odd, but I love watching YouTube videos with the huskies that just start screaming. Or there's one where they're like, "Okay, it's time to go," and he's like, literally, "No," and like he's a "Murph," and then turns away, and everybody starts laughing. Like I love, which I think is why this movie, like those videos on YouTube, TikTok, wherever you're watching them, get they get millions of hits, and that's why Canine and even Turner and Hooch to a certain degree are so popular. Like when people watch them, you can't help but come away. And I don't care how Debbie Downer you are. Like there's moments that you cannot help but smile at both movies. And so, yeah, I agree with both of you. It's one of the most endearing parts of
Pick a
Canine.
side.
But
All right, let's get into this because Alex is gonna piss me off. Let's get to these.
I'm
let's
ready
get to
for these
ratings.
topics. What topics you got for us,
All
Matt?
right. Well, we're gonna start off real strong here because Alex being a friggin' weasel. Let's start off with We'll give you all 5 topics,
Yeah.
and then we'll get into them. Dog character and performance, human dog relationship, comedy and situational humor, action and adventure elements, emotional resonance, and heartwarming moments. So far of our versus movies, these topics are banging. Like,
Yeah. How do we get this deep of topics with these two movies?
I'm getting better at my prompts, and I
There you
should have
go.
done that for the others, but it was a lot easier for me to be like, I know what I want out of. I specifically said, because it gave me the boring topics before, and I was like, no, can we give me at least one where I want to rate dog versus dog? And then ChatGPT got smarter, was like, oh, I think he wants more of these things. I'm learning to work with AI instead of fighting it like Alec is. Anyways, so we digress. Let's start with, and we're going to give the floor to Alec so we can get his opinion out of the way. Dog character and performance. Who did it better?
Canine. The dog was way better in Canine because this thing was a fucking genius dog.
It's true. It's true.
There's no comparison in dog performance. The dog in Canine, Rando or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Way better. Hands down.
Was it Rando?
No, Jerry Lee.
Yeah, Jerry Lee's the dog's
Right.
name. But
The actual dog.
The actual dog
used.
named Rando.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, you're looking at 2 different types of performances, though, aren't you? Because Hooch, like, that's what I'm taking into the account. Like, Hooch is playing more like my Mr. Himbubrkin Dubrikins. Like, he's definitely more of a Hooch than he is a Jerry Lee. Like, in Jay having 3 dogs, he's got 3 very, very different dogs in 3 very different dog plays. Where he's probably got his one that's close to Jerry Lee, and we'll let you say who that is. And then he's probably got his Hooch. And my dog Koa is he's not naughty like Hooch, but he's definitely on the dumber side. Like just to say that. And I appreciated both performances, but man, I in terms of the endearment and the dog that played the role that they were asked to play better, I mean, I got to give it to K9. K9 he was a scene stealer for me, just because. And I think the other reason being is because the acting in K9, like from a human perspective, was subpar at best. At times, where in Turner and Hooch, like young Tom Hanks isn't always my favorite, but he's a far better actor than anyone in K9, like by like a country mile, for instance. And so I think without Jerry, whatever the real dog's name is, again, Jerry Lee and K9 and what they did to humanize it, I really think this movie would have just sucked completely. Where like Turner and Hooch, I think it had a lot more going for it, and the dog was more of a complimentary piece there. Where in K9, like without Jerry Lee and that dog acting, like I just don't think the movie would have done anything for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jerry Lee K9 is the better dog performance. You're not wrong. I have a Jerry Lee and I have a Hooch, and Daisy, my little hound dog, is all Hooch. I cannot tell you. For example, there's been a couple mornings. So she's a chewer, as most of them are, but the difference is she has an immense amount of toys. Like, it's disgusting how many toys the dogs have.
Dude, we have over 100 toys in this house
Dude.
alone, and he has another 50 in her office.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, toys everywhere. But guess what I wake up to? I have a bookshelf that sits right here next to me, okay? And the door will be open or whatever, and she'll come in and out and move around. And I wake up to, she has a million toys. They're all laying in the floor in this room. You know what's all chewed up? My fucking books from my bookshelf. Like, she'll pull them out. She loves books, so now I've had to rearrange and move because that's what she does. But I also have Jerry Lee, and that's Zoe, my husky. That dog is just too smart, too manipulative. Like, she'll use her sisters. She's like, she wants to be, I can't even say the word because they'll lose their minds, but they want to be OUT constantly. Her and the baby, right? Sasha's old enough. She's like, whatever. I'll just lay around and be lazy. But Zoe wants to always be OUT, and so does Daisy. Well, Zoe will literally, she'll come and ask, like, she'll sit in front of me and huff at me, and she'll want to go out. And then I'll say no. And then she'll go and trigger Daisy, who's my hooch. So Zoe doesn't want to be a bad dog. So she does a lot of what, like Jerry Lee, where, like, if you say something, she'll be like, and like hide or whatever. Daisy doesn't give a shit. So what Zoe will do is go get Daisy worked up. Daisy then will come in front of me and start yakking at me like fucking Jerry Lee. But, like, she'll yip, and she'll moan and groan and whine and boss. We call it, she's doing her bossy shit. So she'll sit in front of me, and it's so fucking annoying that I have to get up and let her out because she won't quit no matter what. So I bark back at her and whine bad at her. But yeah, so yes, Canine has by far the better. But I have a problem because I love that droopy face dog. Like, I love the hound dog, like Mastiff, which Hooch is a French Mastiff, or a Dog du Bordeaux is what their actual name. But French Mastiff, I love that floppy jowl look. And so from a perspective of, like, seeing Hooch, like, I just love looking at Hooch. Like, I'd love to just grab a hold of Hooch's cheeks. And that dog's name's Beasley, by the way, in that movie. Yeah, so I give it to Canine in that one from the dog performance, but it's a close one. I love Hooch.
All right. Now let's jump into the human-dog relationship. Alex started. We'll go JJ.
Oh, man, this one's tough, and I think it relates. If I were to look at it from the relationship of what the dog performance, then I would give it to Canine, but I'm giving this one to Turner and Hooch, and I think that's because, to me, that one plays more realistically, the relationship between them, than Canine does. Canine is always over the top. That movie, like, it was geared to just be in your face, over the top, make you laugh, have a good time, find it cute. Whereas Turner and Hooch does try to find some realistic places where, even though it has some comedic. So I think that relationship between the two of them, one of my favorite moments of both of these movies is when they're walking through the house and he's like giving the rules. There's the rules: no barking, no sniffing crotches. This is not your room. But he's showing him no drooling, no chewing. This is not your room. And then he's like, I love that moment. And I think it's partly because I've never had that conversation, right? But I've had conversations with my dog or dogs that, like, in my head, I'm like, I am a fucking ridiculous human being right now because they don't understand a fucking word I'm saying, but I'm still having this conversation. And so I really like that relationship between Tom Hanks's character, between Turner and Hooch, because it feels more real to me. Whereas with Canine and Jerry Lee and Dooley, like, it's played to be in a movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's over the top, it's silly, it's weird, it's goofy. And while I love it, I lean more towards Turner and Hooch, their relationship, because it feels more real to me than played. So, but both are just entertaining as hell and fun and cute, and I like them.
Alec, go for it.
I'm going to agree with JJ. Turner and Hooch is a better portrayed relationship, I think, between dog and human. You have almost like the Turner and Hooch could be a movie where there is no Hooch, and it still plays out pretty much the same. And so Hooch is that supporting kind of character that you have this relationship, the same thing you would with any side character. K9 Rando Jerry Lee is the main character. And so it's a little bit tricky because now you have Jim Belushi playing almost the Hooch role, if that makes any sense. And Jerry Lee's Scott Turner. And so it's a little bit weird, but at the same time, I mean, it kind of works for K9, sort of. But yeah, I'm going to give it Turner and Hooch.
Look, if you had asked me this at the very beginning of starting K9, I mean, it would have been an easy Turner and Hooch. Like, I love Tom Hanks, like, kind of no question. But hearing both you talk about it, I think the way it's split out makes a lot of sense to me. If you're looking for what a realistic human to dog relationship would look like, especially in the way that it's introduced in Turner and Hooch, for someone that's not really a dog person, doesn't really care, and actually grows to love that dog in time, it's probably going to be Turner and Hooch, just because of the way they portray. Like Jay talked about the scene about don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, and the dog breaks all that. You get pissed, but you go through it. K9 is more over the top, 100%. It's played up. It's certainly less realistic, but man, like, I just love it. Like, I just think it's so great. I love the ridiculousness of it. Like, a dog in a hospital, he forces his way. Like, you're gonna fix his dog. You're gonna help. He's like, no, they wouldn't, but they do. And hard to turn my boy Hanks, but I'm gonna give it the K9. Like, I just love the monologues that Jim Belushi gets in this movie, just trashing Jerry Lee, like the rash of her broke his mirror, he pooped in his closet, he smells like, and he just goes after him. And I remember texting JJ. I didn't like the acting in K9, especially the opening scene where he's in the other car and then his car gets shot up and he's like so deadpan about it. I was like, dude, like, you basically just died. Like, you should have died. Like, let's have some more inflection. Like, let's emotion. But then I really feel like the chemistry between him and the dog developed a lot, where those monologues were just ripping into him. I was like, this actually works, and works quite well when he's like, they're going at it. He's just not so good when he's having to do it with other human beings so much. I just really like their chemistry. I thought it was great. And not that Turner and Hooch wasn't, but I just think the over the top nature, like you guys always get on me for not laughing, like, man. And as we'll get to the next topic, like, K9 just had me going. And I think it's just because I could think of a lot of different dogs, and you just would love to see. So you're always like, what would my dog say? What would my dog do? And we don't really want to know, because if they were talking, especially Jay's situation of 3 dogs, he would be going crazy. I'm sure he's thought about, like, man, it'd be kind of cool. Like, what if they talk to me more? K9 really got that going for me.
Yeah. I will say some of the dialogue, like, I love the moment where they have the warehouse, I think. I don't know. And he's like, man, you really lost it in there. We could have been killed. He's like, I needed you. Like that, like where I will give you that. I do love like the actual normal conversations that they have. But again, it goes back to Alec's point of Jerry Lee being like really the lead character, because he's like ripping him, but he like hides, then he looks up, like, so he's got his own personality.
Yeah, it's so freaking cute.
Oh, dude, it's adorable, and I love it. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying for sure.
All right, so number 3, comedy and situational humor. I'm just gonna. And actually, I don't know if I can say. Can I say the R word on YouTube?
Like
Rando, that's fine. The word to say.
I mean, look, say it. The worst thing they're gonna do. We're not monetized, so
right.
yet just
The line when Dooley's telling his girlfriend Tracy about like the dog and like his behavior and his intelligence, and she's like, he doesn't seem very smart. Then he responds, he's not retarded. He's just shy, dude. I mean, Tay and I was dying. Like, I've quoted that multiple times since I've seen the movie. It just makes me laugh. Like, it was so funny, dude. I was like, because I mean, when you own dogs, like my Mr. Himbubberkins, bless his heart, he's a well-demeanored everyone says how well-behaved he is. He's a service dog. He goes to Tay's work. He gets professional pets. He takes on people's emotions. Very emotionally intelligent, but man, he is not a smart guy. Like, if there's not a lot going on upstairs. And that line, I think, just hit me to the core. And I was like, yep, I might be saying the same thing about my dog. But like, that line right there, dude, that freaking killed me. And I think that's just a further, if you zoom out from that, and as we talked about the monologues just with Dooley and Jerry Lee, like, they just make me laugh, dude. And the mannerisms of the dog, Jerry Lee, just the humanizing of it. Like, you knew when he put him in the car in the bar scene, or maybe it was the different scene, but he tied him to the little rear view mirror, the side view mirror. You knew it was coming off. You're like, dude, you need to know your dog. And he comes up in the country club and he's there. And you're like, oh, he did that. Or when he chews him out after the bar scene, as Jay talked about, or that was a warehouse scene with the bar scene when he saves his life, basically, and he's pissed off, but he's also like really thankful. There's just so many. I just love all those interactions. It makes me laugh. Or the hospital scene, as I've talked about, like, I love all of it. But then there's the Turner and Hooch side of it. I think it's funnier because of Tom Hanks, and I think he does a good job making those scenes memorable, in reacting to what the dog has done. But it's more about Hanks than it is about the dog, and to an extent, both are really funny. But no, man, like, the humor in Canine, it got me. Like, there's multiple points. I really laughed during that movie. But that line, he's not retarded, he's just shy. It just kills me. It's so funny. I want to go back and watch that scene today because I just died.
Yeah. No, it's funny. This one's tough for me because I laugh equally at both of these movies. I think to your point, what you were talking about there at the MS, and it's the dynamic is a little different, and why I'm laughing is a little different. And I think Canine, I'm laughing because the comedy's well written and the conversations between the two are well written, and so I giggle. Like, and then there's lines where it plays off the dog that have nothing to do with the dog, really. Like, where he's like, "Do you have a search warrant?" He's like, "The dog ate it. You can hang out by his tail if you want." Like, that kind of dialogue. And then the one you're talking about, like, that involves Jerry Lee and whatnot, like, it makes me laugh and it's endearing. I will say this about Jim Belushi: he's only famous because his brother was hilarious, and so it's like, in my opinion, he's not a great actor, but for some reason his over-the-top ridiculousness works really well in this movie.
It did.
And so I do laugh a lot. I think with Turner and Hooch, I laugh because it's so relatable to me. And to your point, you're not wrong. Like, Tom Hanks is funny, and his reactions to Hooch are funny. Like, one of the greatest scenes in that movie to me, when it comes to comedy, is when he thinks he's smart and he puts him outside, and the dog's losing his shit the whole time. And the neighbor starts yelling, like, "Get him a Valium. In fact, you take one too." Like, "Do you want your car towed? I'm a cop." Like, and then the dog runs in and locks him out. Like, fucking hilarious. But it's Tom Hanks that makes him funny, reacting to Hooch. And even the rules thing, or when he comes home and the dog has just destroyed the house and he's holding up the broken record and dripping slobber off of everything. His reactions are great. I'm going to give the comedy to Canine because it's designed to be in your face funny and, like, just laugh out loud shit. But that's a really hard one for me to choose. I'm only choosing because I hear Alec in my head. Pick a side, fucker. But like that's what I can't. I want to say Turner and Hooch because I think I laugh harder at Turner and Hooch, but I laugh more at Canine. Like, more laughs. Just Turner and Hooch, I laugh harder because of the relatability for it to me.
JJ, he's not retarded. He's just shy.
Just shy. Dog ate it. Freaking love it.
And Turner and Hooch, for me, it's the car scene. You're eating the car.
Oh yeah,
like that part. That part gets me. But again, it's because of Tom Hanks. The reactions are great. But I know it's Alec's turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it Turner and Hooch. I like the way they set up the film. So in the first 30 seconds, right after you've seen the title image or whatever, they let you know how much of a clean freak Tom Hanks is without saying it.
Yeah.
He's steam pressing his pants. He's wiping everything down. Everything's got its place. And Hooch is one of those droopy faced dogs that just slobber.
Yep.
And so you know exactly where this is going, and it doesn't disappoint. So then you get these relatable moments where, like, the outside scene, he gets locked out. Hilarious. But even before that, when he first goes to, like, say bye to Amos, and he's got the muffin, and he's just he's doing that thing where, take the muffin, Hooch, take the muffin, Hooch, Hooch. And you know what's coming. You can see it coming from a mile away. And it's the comedy from Canine. I laughed, but at a certain point, I got worn out with the whole the dog is responding to every single thing that's said to it, and it wore me out to the point where, like, near the middle end of the movie, I was like, I don't care anymore. Like, shut up. And so I'm giving it Turner and Hooch.
It's fair. It was a tough choice for me. It was, yeah.
All right. Action and adventure elements. Who's up? Is it me to go first now?
You can. Let's do it.
All right. I think it's K9. If you think about, I think there's more scenes. You got more scenes of tension. You've got the warehouse. You've got the bar. I mean, you had the movie started with the main character almost dying, getting shot up. There's the main shootout at the end. The protagonist getting right. Did I say there is protagonist the bad guy? I always confuse that. Or is that the antagonist? Yeah, antagonist getting shot up. I just think there's more scenes of action and tension in Canine to an extent. I know there's definitely some in Turner and Hooch, but I think it's portrayed in more of a satirical nature, and Canine definitely leans into more of the serious nature a little bit. I don't mind either of them. They're not the reasons I'm watching the movie, like even rating which one had more or did it better. Like, it's not the reason I would go back and watch either of these things. But I think it's a little bit more of Canine's story. I appreciate the antagonist in Canine a little bit more than I do in Turner and Hooch for me personally. I really like the scene of Dooley going into that dinner and just doing his thing with the antagonist. I like their scenes of coming at each other. So for that, I mean, for me, I think it's Canine.
Go ahead, Alec.
It's tricky because, like, I mean, it's Canine, but something that I hated about both, and this is a total 80s, like 90s trope, is the bad guy's always ex-special forces. Why? Why is this the case? Don't understand. But it's almost like Turner and Hooch is straight comedy with a little bit of added drama thrown in, and Canine is like both in equal parts in a way. And so there's far more action or adventure coming out of Canine to the point where you have those serious moments, I'll say, or a little bit more drama filled, a little bit more, there's actual consequences on the line. Whereas Turner and Hooch, it plays like it's the first 90s movie, even though it came out in 89. Right at the point where it's big shocker, the small town police chief is the bad guy. Like, oh, thank you very much type of a thing. So, I mean, it goes to Canine for action and adventure.
Yeah, I agree. I think as much as I want it to be a tough choice, it's not. Canine for action. And I think kind of what you were hinting there toward, Alec, is the same as what I'm thinking. Like, Canine to me is a buddy cop movie, just with a dog instead of
that's not a bad way of saying
it. You know what I mean? And so it's designed to be action filled and the comedy around. Like, it's like, what am I trying to? Which movie am I? It's like Bad Boys with a cop with a dog. You know what I mean? Like, it's designed to have this action and how they react with each other in between the action scenes. And so by nature, I think it was designed to win. Whereas Turner and Hooch is more of like a character development of this cop that, like you say, we see right out the gate that he's OCD as hell and wants his life a certain way. And this dog comes in and completely changes it, right down to the fact that he meets this vet who he falls for. And so it's more of a character development type story that involves this dog and has a couple action scenes. Whereas Canine is just, let's play this to the nines about, we're going to have explosions and gunfights and
explosions.
Yeah. So when you're going to get all those cool things. So yeah, for me, Canine action adventure takes it for sure.
All right. Alec, bring us home with emotional resonance and heartwarming moments.
Can't say neither, can I?
I was gonna say cold-blooded Alec over
here. Emotional moments. I don't fucking know. You know what? I think I'll just give it to Turner and Hooch because I think it went 2 K9, 1 Turner and Hooch. So let's even it up. Go doozies. No reason why, except for twosies.
You could. There was actually 5 topics, so you could have done that. But
well, 2.5. We'll split right down the road. They both get half a point.
All right, JJ. Someone that own a dog. Let's talk.
Man, this one's tough because I think they both have some really good emotional moments, and especially from. And again, I'm speaking from a perspective of a dog owner. Like, my dogs are my kids. Like, I love my dogs. And so I think both have some really strong moments. I think I'm going to let Turner and Hooch edges this one out for me again, because I think for 2 reasons. One, the relationship feels a little more realistic to me because, and some of that comes from because of how over the top actiony Canine is. Like, there is a certain level of suspension of disbelief that you have to have that these two survive some of this stuff. And that this dog is disciplined enough to run into these explosions and gunfights and stay. And I know, look, canine cops are bitching and cool and they're awesome dogs, but they're still dogs and animals. With Turner and Hooch, I think, again, that relationship is much more realistic to me from a human and dog. And then the second piece is, and spoilers, if you haven't seen these and you're listening to us, I'm about to spoil the ending. Like, the fact that you have that emotional weight at the end, like, I love that Jerry Lee lives, and that moment is hilarious. Like, where Dooley's pouring his heart out to him, and he opens his eyes. Did you just open your eye? Like, sitting here pouring my heart. Great scene. Very emotional. You're planning on it. But with Turner and Hooch, the fact that Hooch doesn't come out of this, right? Like, and that's heartbreaking and it's difficult, especially based on the relationship that they've built. And so for me, I like, as much as I hate it, I also like it because, again, it has that weight and that emotional draw of having to now deal with the fact that this dog has saved Turner's life, but paid the ultimate price for it, right? And they soften it up by having the puppy come in and being an absolute terror and being just like Hooch again. But I like that. So I'm going to give it to Turner and Hooch on this one. That emotional just has different beats and, to me, much more weighty beats on both sides.
Yeah, I think if you would have asked me this at the beginning, I would have given it easily to Turner and Hooch. It still does win out. I think the movie was designed to be more heartwarming and have that emotional connection. I think, like Jay said, being a dog owner, and it has more of that authentic feel. That being said, if when I had started Canine, I would have just said it's more over the top and fun. But when you get towards the end of it, the reason that scene in the hospital is so funny with the monologue and Jerry Lee like peeking out and not peeking out is because you've come to love like the relationship between the two, and you're like, oh yeah, he's just razzing him again, like on death's doorstep, and he's still just poking one at Dooley. And while it's funny, it's also like you see the progression of the like warmth and the connection between the two, just like in Turner and Hooch. But I think I came to appreciating Canine, and in Turner and Hooch, I think it was always there. And for that reason, I think Turner and Hooch wins out on that.
Yeah. I will say that Canine, like one of my favorite things is when a dog does put the paws over their snout thing, because like my dogs do it all the time, especially the one sitting behind me right here, my Zoe. She'd lay down and put her paws over top, and it's the cutest fucking thing. And Canine, I think, started me down that because Jerry Lee does that shit so often when he's hiding or when he's. And so yeah. Anyway, both these movies are just so freaking nostalgic for me. But yeah.
All right, Jay. Well, they're your movies, so rate them.
Okay. God, this is so hard for me. I'm gonna give Canine a 4.5, and I'm gonna give Turner and Hooch a 5.
You see Alec's face?
Yeah, I know. That's because Alec, in this situation,
You're giving Turner and Hooch a 5 though? That's a 5?
Yeah, to me, it's a 5. Look, there's a level of nostalgia that goes with that for me. But like,
a 5.
I could watch just like with the others, and normally I call Mattson the heartless bastard in this podcast, but because he's a redheaded, but Alex like really hurting my soul right now with the anger level that he's got for this, the disdain I can see in his eyes. No, look, Turner and Hooch to me, like I could watch it any day. Like it's heartwarming. It crushes my soul, but I have this just absolute love of that relationship. And to me, like Tom Hanks and this just is funny. It's heartwarming. Like I can relate to the relationship that these two have outside, like in any situation, take away the police and the investigation and all that weird stuff. Just this absolute hilarious relationship that they have that to me is realistic, because no matter how pissed at first he has to have this dog here, but then by the end it's just like, man, he can't like live without his dog, and he's adapted his life to his dogs. And I can relate to that on so many levels. Like I adapt my life. Casey and I adapt our lives to our dogs. They're our kids. They're our family. That's just how it is. I think the difference between me and as much as I love the movie from Canine and it's funny and I'm entertained by it, it is a movie and it feels like a movie and it feels fake and I can't quite relate, even though there's a lot of things I can relate to. The unrealistic nature of the back and forth between Jerry Lee and Dooley, and then just the wild action scenes, like it takes away from what I love, which is the interaction between the two of them. That's the funny part and the great parts. So for me, it's one of those things where it's just like, let me just watch this dog and these humans hang out. So yeah, but to me, Turner Hooch, like it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Love it. It's great. It's funny. It's cute. It's got a great story.
We're gonna put you as the white center of an Oreo, just to we'll get through yours quick because I think they'll be fast.
Oh yeah, they will. Canine gets a 2, and that 2 comes from the fact that this is one of the best trained dogs I think that has ever been on screen. That's true. Just in general. This dog is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing with the amount of commands this dog has to recognize to do what he was able to do. Insane. The movie's trash, but the dog was so good. Oh, and shit. Turner and Hooch is a little bit better of a movie. Gets a 3.
Heartless, soulless bastard.
All right. I mean, I have to be honest. I'm quite shocked that Jay gave Turner and Hooch a 5 and Canine a 4.5. Like, I think I'm a little perplexed by your ratings in conjecture of like what we give 5s in this podcast. Like, I'm gonna give Canine a 3.5. I'm gonna give Turner and Hooch a 3. They're both. I'm extremely entertained, but I'm not here to say like when I, as a man of the people, let me just like lay this out again. When I give a 5, it's a 5. Like let's not get it twisted here. Neither of these movies are close to a 5, but is Canine entertaining? And I'm happy to watch it. And I have liked it so much. I'm probably going to rewatch it again in a few weeks. I don't do that. Like I'm blown. I told Jay I'm so happy if nothing else, this month has given me a new movie that I will probably watch at least like once a year or something. Like, so thankful for that. Turner and Hooch, like, I don't have a strong connection to it. Like, I like Tom Hanks, but Canine, I definitely do now. Like, that movie struck a chord with me, and I'm just so grateful to have experienced it. I just gave 0.5 more to Canine. Just, it made me laugh, dude. Like, I know I'll laugh again. It's quotable. It's cute. I love that dog, and I love the monologue with Dooley. I don't dislike Turner and Hooch. I just think it's not as funny. And for what I want, if I'm going to watch these movies, I like the over the top a little bit more. If I want heartwarming, I think I don't know, I'll turn to something else. But dude, give me more Jerry Lee. But a 5 for Turner and Hooch and a 4.5 for Kanan, like, it just feels a little broken, Jay.
Hey, look, man, I am usually very objective.
Are you?
Usually.
I mean, usually, but your credibility might be a little trash now.
Like, you
I
never
mean, we
believed
already
my
know that you got
credibility
problems
anyway.
with comedy. So, like,
Mattson, your credibility is the worst. We're all bad. You're the worst.
Look, I try very hard to be objective, but I will freely admit that my objectivity is out the window with these two movies. This one is pure 8-year-old JJ.
I mean, you
voting
do
and grading
really,
these
you
movies.
love, I love my dog, but I know if we had a love meter of dogs, you would be higher than me.
Oh yeah, we've had this conversation. I think
we
I
have.
thoroughly offended you because I told you I'd try to save my dogs before I tried to save you in the fire. But
You got offended by that? That's an easy answer.
I mean, same truth. It holds true for you too, Alex. Sorry, I'm picking my dogs.
Oh,
But
100%.
I tried to save Jay first, but I think I told him that it would be a little difficult.
Dude,
yeah,
I would
nobody's
save
carrying my
JJ's
fat ass in
dogs
the house,
before
but-
I save JJ.
I appreciate that. So yeah, no, I mean I am completely unadulterated, undeniably.
All right, that makes me feel a little bit better. I'm surprised that you went that high.
Yeah, no, because and it's purely from an entertainment perspective for me. Like, I could watch either of these movies anytime because they to me make me feel real good. Like, I just like these movies a lot. Like, and I really want a French freaking Mastiff. I'll never own one, but I want one every time I see kids.
Can't deal with that much slobber. It's too much.
Yeah, the slobber's a little rough, and look. I love German Shepherds because they're really smart. Like, I would never own a German Shepherd either. I would love to, but they're super smart. My house isn't entertaining enough for a German Shepherd. That's the problem. We like to laze around and hang out. It's hard enough keeping my husky entertained. But the problem with Mastiffs, one, I love a big dog, but that's a big ass dog. This movie doesn't do any justice.
Yeah, they're huge. I met him in person. I was blown away. I was like, no, you not sit on my lap. You passed that stage many moons ago, my friend.
Yeah. Their heads are like as big as all my dogs right now. But Mastiffs are huge. But I love all that droopy face, slobbery. Like, I just want to
Do you make out with your dogs, Jay?
No, I don't make out with my dogs. I do let my dogs give me kisses on the face, but I don't make out with
willingly, lots of kisses on the mouth area.
Not on the mouth. Like, I'm not if they go to kiss my mouth, they get away with it, and I'm like, stop it. But like cheeks, forehead, face, I let that happen all day long. Except for my old one right now, her breath is really, 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 really bad. Like, because she's old.
Hubby's will give me kisses because I give him kisses all the time. But if I have seen him recently lick his butt region, then I'm like, you know what? We're gonna wait a little bit. We're gonna push that away for a second.
Yeah. No, obviously, like, if I look over and I see my dog licking their ass, I'm not like immediately like, hey, when you're done over there, come on over. You know, like, it's not like, I mean, I let her cool off a little bit, but
I'm so happy to have done this. This has been one of my favorite.
This is a great episode
in a long time. All I can think about now, Jay, is I want to watch Canine with you very high. That sounds like a good time.
It would be a great time because I'd laugh my ass off. We'll have to do it. when I'm not.
I would, dude. I'd get tickled pink during that scene where he says he's shy. That I'd be on the ground. I might be.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I'd laugh a lot.
He's
It's good stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Such a funny.
He's not dumb.
I love. Yeah, there's so many quotes in both of these movies that are just great. But anyway, I love the rules in Turner and Hooch. This is not your room. This is not your room. This is your room. And then he headbutts his way out of it. Oh, so good.
Oh, the last thing I wanted to say is the lovemaking scene with Jerry Lee.
Oh.
That part makes me giggle because we've never experienced a dog coming in the bed as you're trying to do the dirty, but like sometimes they're in there and like you make eye contact and you're like, no, gotta stop, gotta pause, you gotta be out. Like I don't need that pressure. 2, I don't want to be seeing you right now. Like, no, that scene makes me laugh.
I should not tell this story, but I'm going to anyway. When Casey and I used to live in South Weber, we had a townhouse. And at the time, we owned 2 dogs, not 3. We had a little beagle, miniature beagle, Claire, who was Casey's first dog. Just sweet little dog, little tiny thing. And then we had, miss her. And then we had Maya, who was a husky. And Maya, when adult activities were taking place in our house, Maya left. Like she didn't want anything. She wasn't. But Claire had this unnatural attachment to Casey. Like would try to fight my 55, 60-pound husky. When Maya would come up to try to say hi to Casey, Claire would lose her shit. Like she was that jealous about Casey. So a happy adult time in our house was very awkward with Claire because she would get very jealous of me spending time with Casey. And so there was a happy time happening one time. We used to have a chaise lounge that was really big and nice. And we were on the chaise lounge. And the next thing I know, like, what the fuck? I got a slobbery beagle kiss on my left ass cheek. Ruined the mood. Just like that. So from then on, bully sticks. We had to, for like 6 years, Casey and I had to plan adult time or we had to buy a bunch of bully sticks. We had bully sticks in a drawer in our house because it was the only thing that kept Claire distracted.
JJ walks in with the bully stick. He's like, hey, baby.
You have no idea the running jokes in our house because we would also spontaneously things would happen. And so we'd be in the midst of like a hot and heavy makeout session, knowing where things are going. And then it's like, pause. And we'd have to run and get a bully stick because otherwise, so it was a constant fucking joke in our house.
That's great.
But yeah, no, I had my ass cheek licked in the middle of the deed. It'll great. Stop the deed real quick. I promise. I never thought anything would stop the deed, but that did. Mood was ruined. And of course, Casey just laughed because that's her style. She just will still make a joke about that shit nowadays. But anyway, probably shouldn't have told that story for our 5 listeners, but All right. Alec, tell everybody where they can find us when they're not hearing about my unfortunate stories.
I was going to say this used to be a reputable podcast, but this episode has really turned left. So that's week 3 of arbitration month. And today, today's episode is all about showdowns between dog's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So it really comes down to which you like better. Go ahead and leave us a comment if you agree with our verdict. I think it was Turner and Hooch for me and JJ and K9 for Mattson. So let's see if Mattson's really a man of the people. Put down in the comments if it's Turner and Hooch or K9. Special
Sometimes
thanks.
The people don't know what is right, and I have to
Right. Okay. Well, then you're not really a man of the people then. So,
Alec, last time I checked, the people like to see things in color. If they could willingly vote, do you want to see black and white or color? They're going to pick color every time.
Okay. Whatever you say, Mattson.
I
You
just love
are
Alec.
the man of the people.
I just love Alec's tone throughout this whole freaking because he's just like we're talking about dog movies.
Yeah, Alex has
You
been.
fucker.
I don't think I've ever seen him more annoyed about 2 movies than what we've done right now.
It's been a rough hour. Anyway, thanks to our patrons, CB and Rich, you know what? Screw both of you. Thank you for supporting the podcast and being patrons. Patreon's a place to find us at What's Our Verdict Reviews, so you can join in and pick all the motherfucking dog movies you want, everybody. Bullshit. Anyways, with that, let's kick it back to the Wazir of WAP, the Maharaja of MASH, a JJ.
Thanks, buddy. Almost 400 episodes in, and this one ranks up there. It was a great one.
Poor Will Alec don't want to do a movie. Don't like no doggy. Oh.
I'm just channeling my inner Mattson.
Oh boy, it's been a fun one. What a good way to kick week 3. It's not a kickoff or an ending. We've had a couple before it, and we got one later. So, and I'm getting a hello from my little husky here. So, with that, as always, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Boy.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!